Hello and welcome back to What Heather Did. I'm Heather, and today I built a thing because this was desperate. Okay, so this behind me is all framing. It's framed, like some of it's pretty old, but it's framed, like frames, not like building framing, like frames. And I got it when my AV passed. Her kids were like, hey, would you like this? I was like, yeah. It was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. And I've done stuff with it, but it's a lot. So, I needed a place to store it. I mean, it's just been kind of sitting in here. And then a couple months ago, when I was looking for pictures for my baby brother's celebration of life, I needed to get a box of photo albums that was sitting on this shelf, this little plastic shelf back there. And while I was trying to get it, can you see that leg? Do you see this? So that was a problem. And I couldn't get to the shelf from this direction because of all the stuff in the way. So I could only get to it from the front, but I didn't want to pull anything from the front. There was also a bunch of wooden stuff in there. Man, I put too much stuff on there. So between that and then all the framing was kind of leaning up against it. So I had to fix it. And it was one of those things that I was like, I need to get it done. So I finally had some time over the Thanksgiving break. I was like, this is what I'm doing. Period. I need this done. I don't need it to be fancy. I don't need a lot of, like, anything. I bought 10 2x4s and I was like, this is going to be fine. I didn't plan anything. The only thing I knew for sure was it needed to be 8 feet long because that's how long the framing is. So, I was like, and bought 8-foot 2x4s. So, hey, look, it's going to be easy. So, let's go and build the shelf. Okay, so here is my pile of mess. And you can see all the stuff I have on the shelf, little plastic shelves, and the plywood and everything that's leaning against it. Alright, so I'm going to have a stack of 10 2x4s. Also had like 2 little scraps. I just laid it out. Again, I don't have a plan. I'm just laying them out. And I made this simple little frame. And I started with one at the top and then ended up moving it down, which happened to be a really good plan because I ran into some problems later. So, step 1, smear some glue. Get it squarish. And go find the drill that you can't find. And so I'd already built one of these. This is my second one. Just the first one I didn't film was good. So I put one screw in, went to this part. This is 4 feet up. Again, I didn't really have a big plan. I just knew that that would be plenty of space to fit what I needed to fit in there. So put some glue, make everything squarish. And then after I have everything attached and squarish, I'll come back and I'll add more screws in. And that's really all I did for these, is made 2 of these, the 8-foot sections to hold all the long boards. And to connect the 2 like sides, I'm cutting 4 boards that are about 24 inches. It was specifically to fit my space. And I didn't even pull out my workbench because most of the work can't be done on that. So I'm just using this desk that I had sitting there. I've got several of these. I've already redone 4, but I still have 2 more. So cut these to the right length, and then I'm just going to use 4 of them to connect the 2 sides. Easy peasy. Also, I don't know why I threw that one, but I did. Got another 2x4, and then almost immediately, you know, had to pick up the board that I just tossed on the ground, because I'm going to use it as a template for cutting the other 3 boards that all need to be the same size. And yes, I do have a miter saw, which would have made this easier, but again, I'm cutting very few boards really, so I didn't want to, I was being kind of lazy, honestly. That's my whole excuse. Also, if you happen to be enjoying this content, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, maybe sharing it to somebody you think might like it, subscribe, do all the things to help me out, I would appreciate it. And now we're back over to my very uneven driveway and working in the wind. It was a bit of, you can see all the cobwebs blowing in the wind there. This was one of the scrap boards that I obviously didn't clean either. I'm not gonna lie, I did go a little bit crazy with the glue in a few spots here. So there was a little bit more cleanup than, you know, if I'd been a little bit more reasonable with the glue. So, you know, just should probably keep that in mind for later. Also get to peel glue off my hands because it was everywhere. And really the only thing I'm worried about here is making sure that the boards, not necessarily square, but like they're level with each other, so that this is relatively flat, even though my garage floor isn't level in any way. That's okay. And there were some struggles, so I went and got a clamp, because between the wind and the uneven driveway, it was silly. So, got a clamp, which would have made sense, and I'm gonna need them anyway. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. And then everything worked out great. Yay! And then all I had to do was repeat that exact same thing 3 more times. Only with more lessons already learned. And I know this looks like it's sticking out at a weird angle, but I promise it's not. It all worked out. Okay, so I didn't get any video of me putting this together, but you may immediately notice that there's a problem. And I had already noticed it here, but in considering taking what I'd done apart and flipping it so that it was correct, so that they were the same, I decided I didn't care that much. It's going in my garage. It's fine. And it's funny, and a good lesson on paying attention. So I did go through at this point, and I'm just adding screws in a bunch of places to make sure it's all reinforced. Again, if you're gonna do this, double check the way everything is facing before you screw it all together. Now, in between the long 2x4s on the sides, I'm gonna add some short 2x4s for support. Right, just going along that center. Because I'm going to be gluing in grain, and that acts like little straws, like the little xylem and phloem of the plants, I'm coating each end with a little bit of glue that just kind of helps block everything. So then you can apply more glue and all the glue is like on the surface instead of sucked it down into the little straws. Just helps it glue a little better. And pick all the glue off your skin. Now I'm gonna put these in between here. There's one about in the middle, and then, you know, one on each side of that. I just kind of eyeballed it. Yeah, I didn't measure really anything. I did, however, spend some time making sure I got it square. I even checked for square. And I forgot what I was gonna say. I did the same thing on the top and the bottom. So there's 3 on the bottom, 3 on the top, and the leaves kept attacking me. Now, if you remember at the beginning, I said I was really glad that I didn't put the long piece at the top, which is because when I looked at it, it occurred to me this was too tall to get into my garage. Not too tall to fit in my garage, too tall to get into my garage. So I had to cut the top off of all of the boards. It's okay. It was really just about a foot. So, and then just to make sure no splinters or anything, I took my little battery operated sander, so it makes it easy. Just knock down all of the rough edges and smoothed everything out. I did not sand the whole thing. This was just make sure there are not going to be splinters or pokey things sticking out. And it's all done, but you know, before we gotta pull this out now. Literally stacks and stacks. So much stuff. So I recruited my kids and we just emptied, which is a lie. We didn't actually empty everything out of the garage. Just this pile. We just cleaned out this pile. And here you can see how bad that leg really is. So I went ahead and cleaned off the shelves too. I took all the heavy stuff off of those shelves. And moved this into place. And now I kind of got stuck back there. I blocked myself in. Luckily I'm short and I can crawl under the shelf that I made. It's all good. And now I gotta move everything back in. Take it all out, put it all back in. Yay! Also, comment down below, how many times do you think I had to tell my kids to quit hitting each other with the boards? How many times would you have had to tell your kids? Or how many times would you have had to be told as a sibling? So here is, you can see I still have space to easily add another shelf, like an actual shelf. This part down there doesn't need anything else because these boards are all like 8 feet anyway. It has some sort of plywood that is working here for now, but obviously I need to do something with that. But I have space that as I get to it, I can get this done. But this was like I have to get this done, I have to get that up and stuff off that shelf. And not leaning on that shelf as well. So that shelf clearly still needs to be replaced, but it's one of those it'll hold for now to give me time to take care of it. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to find out what Heather does next time.